So, Laura, obviously we know that a lot of people are and must be living on a knife edge right now, financially, emotionally, psychologically. What are some steps that you've seen leaders of institutions, corporations and other organizations make to make this easier? What can we learn from?
Thank you for having me today. Yeah, it is such a challenging time to lead. It's also a time to grow into leadership, and I think that's what we've seen from a lot of leaders around the world. And unfortunately, leadership is not a destination. It's a constant journey that we all go through. I think one of the things that we've really seen from a lot of leaders is just an ability to think outside the box. These are very different times we're going through. So thinking about words like navigating, pivoting, improvising, redirecting, or changing your perspective is really critical at this time.
If it's something you want to do, but you're having difficulty getting past, the scariness of the time, is there something that you can do for yourself in order to make that easier? You look around and you see some people sort of taking up the gauntlet and becoming the leaders they never knew they were, and others getting a little paralyzed. What's your advice for those who are paralyzed?
That's such a great question. Yeah, and I think we all strive to be certain adjectives or descriptives, for example, a great leader, and how to actually get there and achieve that is a very different process, as you're saying. So one of the things that I think is really important is going back to emotional intelligence that really accounts for 90% of what sets high performers apart from peers with similar technical skills and knowledge. And that's really at the core of being or leading in all the ways one strives to do. So that's self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skill. So I think one of the biggest things is really going back to that and trying to manage that. One of the things we talk a lot about in cognitive behavioral therapy is learning to just retrain your brain. So when you actually think different things, you can manage your emotions or manage the intensity of emotions in very potent ways that can lead to very different behaviors that tend to be more creative and more productive and get leaders the outcomes they're looking for.
Laura, is there a place where people can go to try and learn some of this? It's not like we all don't have some extra time on our hands these days. Is there books or websites?
It's so true. Some of us have extra time on our hands, and I think others are busier than ever, retraining their staff or sort of coming up with new ways to manage their organizations and businesses. There are quite a few sites. Anytime you just Google emotional intelligence, I've seen a lot of, certainly there's books out there, but there's also a lot of people offering now master classes or sort of free information on that.
Yes.
Some different websites actually have more information on how to retrain the brain if you Google cognitive behavioral therapy.